y'all, it's your girl Missniecytv, and I'm here to do a review of Zatima Season 3, Episode 3. The episode picks up where it left off, and Zach is outside talking to everybody because everybody done shut up by now. And Fatima comes outside, and she's like, what are y'all doing here? And Nathan's like, well, we need to talk to Zach. And then Fatima's like, whatever y'all need to talk to him about can wait because he's stressed right now. Can't you see it? They go through this whole back and forth for, are we going to tell him? I don't want to tell him. I don't want you to tell him. Nathan slips up and says it's about Jeremiah. He was going around the hood saying this and this and that. And he almost told it. Tony stopped it. And Zach is like, I don't want to hear about Jeremiah. And that's when Fatima sends him in the house. And then Fatima comes back outside. And that's when Belinda shows up. And she's like, hey, girl, how you doing? And Fatima's like, what are you doing here? Belinda's like, you know you're my girl. And I just want to make sure you're okay. I'm like, what does Belinda not understand? You and Fatima are no longer friends. Zach is in the house now, and this is when Angela shows up, and she's like, dang, B, what are you doing? This is crazy. Fatima's like, did you invite her over here? Angela's like, no, she said she wasn't coming. Angela's like, I don't even know why she's over here. Fatima's like, to be messy as usual. He's like, so how did y'all find out anyway? Nathan's like, Jeremiah was going around the hood saying that he didn't hurt you and all this other stuff, and that you just fell. And Nathan's like, so why are you trying to protect Jeremiah? Fatima's like, I'm not trying to protect Jeremiah. I'm trying to protect Zach from going to jail. Tony's like, she's right. Nathan and Fatima go back and forth on Fatima doesn't want to tell Zach because she knows how Zach is and how Zach will crash out about her. Nathan's like, well, we need to tell him because if we don't tell him, he's going to be hurt that we didn't tell him and we knew. Nathan gets smart with Fatima and he's like, so she thinks she knows Zach better than we do. Fatima's like, I do. Are you screwing him? The look on Nathan's face is hilarious. And Tony's like, she's right. And Nate is like, I'm about to go tell him myself. And Fatima's like, suit yourself. Nate is like, so he hit you and you're not going to tell Zach? Fatima's like, first of all, he didn't hit me, so get your back straight. And Nate is like, whatever he did, you're still not going to tell Zach? And Fatima's like, no. And you already know why, because I told you. Fatima's like, you know what, Nate, you need to leave. Tony, take him and take that thing with you. Fatima goes in the house and Connie's like, I feel so bad I caused all this. I'm like, Connie, you should feel bad. Just because you don't want the problems with Jeremiah, you brought it to somebody else because you thought you were protecting you and your kids. Then we see Zach in the bathroom and he's sitting there drinking. And Fatima comes in and she's like, why aren't you in the tub? And Zach is like, honestly, I don't feel like it. Zach is like, why is Jeremiah was doing something? And why do you think they drove all the way over here to tell me something? Fatima's like, honestly, I think it's something you shouldn't even worry. Fatima's like, just relax. And Zach is like, I gotta go to the funeral home and start planning and stuff. And Fatima's like, look at me. I can plan the funeral. Zach is like, but it's my mom's funeral. And Fatima's like, you know what? I can plan the funeral, but you can just approve it. And Zach looks at her and smiles. Zach is like, you can do that? Fatima's like, yeah, and I can even pick out her dress and everything. Zach is like, you can? Fatima's like, yeah, I can. Did she have a favorite color or anything? Fatima realizes that she shouldn't have just asked that question, and Zach is like, I should know my mom's favorite color. And Fatima's like, well, you didn't have to well upbringing. Because, like, that's a valid question, though. That's something I should know. Fatima's like, well, you just relax and I'll get you another drink. She's like, this won't be a problem, though, will it? Zach is like, what do you mean? Fatima's like, just drinking. You always drink when you're stressed. And we got a baby on the way. Zach is like, no, but guess who's stressing me out right now? And then Fatima goes on a tangent of, I know, they shouldn't have came over here with all that stuff and starting. Zach looks at her with the straightest face, and she's like, I know I'm not stressing you out. Zach is like, no, you can never. He's like, you want to get in the stove with me, though? Then we see Fatima go downstairs, and she's on Zach's phone, and she calls Connie, and Connie answers the phone like, hey, Zach. But no problems with Fatima, so don't be calling me. Fatima then says, this is actually Fatima. I have a question to ask you. Did Miss Gladys happen to have a favorite color? Connie's like, I don't know, but she did like these purple flowers out in the courtyard. Fatima's like, do you know the name of them? Connie's like, no, but I could send a picture. Fatima's like, that would be great. And Connie's like, you don't have to say it. Fatima's like, say what? Thank you for not telling Zach. And for also being a down chick. Fatima's like, you think very highly of yourself. Connie's like, don't you? Fatima's like, I actually wasn't going to say that. Connie's like, oh, well, what were you going to say? Fatima's like, how did you actually find out about Jeremiah? He's like, he was around here crying and said that he didn't hurt you. And Fatima's like, well, when you see him, tell him to stop all that because I don't want Zach knowing. Connie's like, you might not know this, but I really like you for Zach. You need somebody that's solid and is going to be there for him. And that's you. Fatima's trying to hurry up and get off the phone, right? And Connie's still talking. And she's like, you know what? We're going to be great friends. Fatima's like, I highly doubt that. Connie's like, you sure? Because I'm known to wear people down. Fatima's like, well, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun. He's like, well, you'll see. Fatima's like, can you just send a picture? Connie's like, I have one question. Is this for the funeral? Fatima's like, yeah. Connie's like, let me know if you need some help because I know a lot about Miss Gladys. Fatima's like, that'd be greatly appreciated, but I think I got it. Connie's like, you sure? Because I could definitely hop back and meet you at the funeral. Over at Belinda's, Belinda and Nate are talking, and Belinda's trying to convince Nate to tell Zach about what happened with Jeremiah, and Nate is basically like, I'm in a lose-lose situation. If I tell him, it's going to hurt our friendship, and if I don't tell him, it's going to hurt our friendship. Belinda is just over there trying to be messy, trying to start stuff, and she's trying to convince Nate to call Zach. Nate's like, I don't want to do that, and Belinda gets mad because she realizes that Nate isn't going to call Zach, so she tries to pull the trades about trades. If you don't do what I say, you ain't getting it. Nate is like, so why are you pressing it so much? Belinda gets mad and she starts arguing with him like, Belinda's like, get your stuff, get out and leave. And Nate is like, screw you in this house. Belinda's like, you say that now, but you're staying here every night. Go back and forth about calling Zach. Nate winds up calling to Zach, but he gets a message, and Belinda's like, leave a message. Nate is like, no, that's like leaving him in a heart emoji. They finish the argument, and Nate winds up staying back over at Zach and Fatima's. We see Fatima studying, and that's when she gets a knock on the door, and it's Preston. Preston's like, hey, can I come in? Fatima's like, sure, but Zach is sleeping. Preston's like, I'm glad he finally got some rest. Preston asks Fatima how she's doing. She says she's good. Preston's like, hey, look, tell Zach I stopped by. I see that you're doing something, and I don't want to interrupt you. And that's when Zach comes down the stairs, and he's like, I'm up. Fatima's like, well, Fatima's like, you're supposed to be sleeping. Zach is like, that's hard for me. Fatima's like, well, I want you to be rested. Zach is like, just let me do it. I'm going to continue to. Zach is like, you still studying? Fatima's like, actually, I was about to close the books up. Zach is like, you need some help? He's like, I know the law. Fatima's like, I'm good. Just talk to Preston. Zach is like, I got you. Now it's just Preston and Zach talking, and Preston's like, you want to go outside and get some air? Zach is like, no, it's cold as heck outside. Why would I want to go outside? Why can't we just stay in here? And they have this little banter of Preston telling Zach that he could borrow his jacket, and Zach's like, no, I don't want to borrow your jacket. They finally go outside, and Preston's looking at the house, and he's like, I forgot how nice this was. Zach is like, yeah, it's nice. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it, though. Preston's like, is that bad? Zach is like, yeah. Bryce took $1.5 million of my dollars. Preston's like, I've been looking at that, and I can kind of see why you made the investment. He starts listing out these qualities of why he made the investment, and Zach is like, yeah, I know all that. I told him that I couldn't afford it, but you still took my money anyway. Preston's like, I know all that, but you could take the top floor and just rent out the rest of the building. Zach is like, what did he say to you? Preston's like, he didn't say nothing. I just think it's a good idea. Zach is like, you're sitting here talking to me about the top floor of a building for a business that has no capital, and I need money. Preston's like, it's going to take $2.7 million for you to get your business back. Because, like, we're talking about $2.7 million, not 2.7 cap. Zach is like, you don't have that type of money. And Preston's like, I don't. Zach is like, so what are we talking about here? That's when Preston pulled out a check from his pocket, and it's $3 million. Zach is like, what's this? Preston's like, it's $3 million. Let me in on the deal. I only want 33%. Zach is like, you really got this type of money? Preston's like, I do. Zach asked the question, you really got this type of money? Preston's like, I do. Zach then goes over to Preston and hugs him. And Preston's like, this is not a cock-a-doodle-doo moment, is it? He's like, nah, man, pause. You just gave me a check for $3 million. Zach is like, how'd you get this type of money? Preston's like, you know that? He's like, you know them cows you be joking about? They're actually worth a lot of money. Preston's like, all I want is 33%. And Zach is like, as much as I want to take this, I don't want to work at Preston. I can't even trust him with my money. What makes you think I'm going to trust him with your money? Preston's like, well, his name is already on the building, so if both y'all could agree to take the check, we could get started. Preston's tried to plead the case for Bryce like he is a good guy, and Zach's like, you don't even know him. Preston's like, I spent enough time with him to know that he's a good guy. Zach is like, well, I don't want to talk to him right now. You took my money, so you gotta wait. Preston's like, I understand it. I don't want to argue with you. Zach is like, you sure this check is real? Preston's like, yeah, call the bank and see. Zach is like, I sure will. Preston's like, it's too cold to be sitting out here with a fake check. You know that myth about white people loving the cold? Well, that ain't me. It's too cold. Zach is like, I do got a question though. Does Danny know you got this type of money? Preston's like, nah, she ain't know that. I'm like, so that's how Preston was able to pay Danny's rent 6 months in advance and sisters, because he's rolling in money. Zach is like, hey, baby, you remember that money problem we had? Well, you ain't got to worry about it anymore because Preston's going to invest. Fatima's like, Preston. Zach is like, yeah. Fatima's like, you got that type of money? Zach showed her the check and she's like, well, all right, Preston, I see. Fatima's like, there's a lot of zeros here. Does Danny know that you have this type of money? Because, like, that's why you my baby, because that's the same question. She's like, see, this is why we think. Fatima's like, on a more serious note, though, are you going to tell Bryce about it? Zach's like, that's what I said. I'm sure that Bryce and him would love to kiss and make up. Zach is like, whoa, I told you that one time and you can't let it go. Zach is like, I'm not telling him because he's the reason we're in this mess and I think you should suffer a little bit. Fatima's like, I think you should tell him. because, like, no, he needs to face the consequences of his actions. Over at Andrew's house, while her and Sean are doing the business, he calls her another name. He actually calls her Lisa. So they stop abruptly. He's like, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna let you keep treating me like this. Angela's like, treating you like what? A fuckboy? Angela's like, well, that's exactly what you are. Sean is like, well, you know I don't have to be here, right? Angela's like, I know. There's plenty of other women that would take care of you. Sean is like, you don't think I'm shit, do you? Angela's like, no, but your dick is good and you got a pretty face to go with. Sean is like, you just need to admit that you like me. Angela's like, it's time for you to go. Angela's like, I told you this once and I judged you before. I like to be single and I like to be free and do what I want to do. Sean is like, okay, I can see you don't want to talk about it. Sean is like, what you need to be doing is handling that outside. Sean sees Bryce outside and Angela's like, you know what, I'm really getting tired of this. Sean is like, you need me to come with you? Angela's like, no, I got it. Angela's like, Bryce, what are you doing here? I have company. Bryce is like, I'm in need. Angela's like, I'm in need too, and so is my kitty. Bryce is like, how are you gonna talk to me like that? We were together. Angela's like, I bet you missed this kitty too. Bryce is like, you know what, Angela, I'm leaving and go to hell. His brain flips a switch, and this is when he starts cussing and talking about some. Nobody gives a F about me, nobody gives a shit about me, and starts really crashing out for real. He's like, I went to go see my father today, and he told me that he was ashamed of me. Nobody cares about me, nobody loves me, and all this other stuff. Angela tries to calm Bryce down, but nothing's working, and Bryce gets in his car and presses the gas pedal so hard to the point that he runs into another car and causes an accident. Bryce has reached a point of no return, and he needs to go seek professional help, because he was really trying to take himself out. Angela's sitting there screaming, Bryce, 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 like, call 911. What are you sitting there screaming? Bryce needs to get some professional help before he tries to take himself out again or to hurt somebody else. Let me know what you guys think about the episode. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn your bell notifications. Bye!